There was a lot to like about the Las Vegas Raiders from their scrimmage yesterday. We shouldn't go too crazy though. There was a lot of ones versus twos action. It was still good to see guys that the Raiders need to and expect to play well. I don't know what his stat line was, but quarterback Geno Smith looked very sharp. He had 4 touchdown passes, including 2 to tight end Brock Bowers. Of course, you know you're going to hear a lot about that combination throughout the season. On defense, Max Crosby was Max Crosby. He had a sack fumble return for a touchdown from 60 yards out. We expect things like that from Crosby too. But there were some actual storylines that started to build going into the scrimmage that we should follow coming out of it. One big storyline to follow from here all the way into the season is that of receiver Dante Thornton. The guy's a 4th-round pick and he's ripped it up in OTAs, minicamp, and training camp so far. I've kept my ear to the streets and it sounds like he's having the best training camp of all the rookie receivers. Yeah, he's even making more noise than Ted McMillan, the first receiver picked in the draft. For whatever the reason, no one saw Thornton coming. Never mind the fact that he's 6'5", 210 pounds and runs a 4.3 40. He's an inch taller than McMillan and 0.2 of a second faster over 40 yards. Oh, he supposedly can't run the whole route tree because they didn't have him doing it at Tennessee. He went from making big plays in OTAs and minicamp to catching a 70-yard bomb from quarterback Geno Smith on the first day of pads in training camp. Of course, we already knew he could do that, but that's not all he's doing. He's catching the ball in the short to intermediate area and he's using his size in the red zone too. He caught a 20-yard touchdown pass in the scrimmage. This is one of the storylines I'm going to follow into the season. That Raiders secondary is going to be better than many thought too. They have not just one but 2 good corners. Eric Stokes looks like he's back to how he was as a rookie. He's had his struggles with injuries since then, which is why the Raiders were able to get him in free agency this offseason. As I've said since the Raiders got him a few months ago, if he's healthy, he'll ball out. So far in camp, he is healthy, so what he's doing now is no surprise. He appeared to have one corner position locked down in the offseason program, then early in camp, Jacorian Bennett was taking reps with the ones. Now Stokes is the guy, and Bennett is working with the 2s and 3s. The guy they have with him is 3rd-round pick Darian Porter. Head coach Pete Carroll's loved him since day one because he reminds him of Richard Sherman, and so far, Porter is making him right. He had a rep where he didn't let Jacoby Myers of all people get off the line of scrimmage, and Myers just had to tap him on the butt because he had the clamps put on him on that rep. This might be a real discovery by Carroll. Both corners were tried deep in the scrimmage, but to no avail. The linebacker core that was supposed to be the weak link of the Raiders might be pretty good. Landon Roberts has stepped in for Robert Spillane and looks to have taken the reins. He's actually a better run defender than Spillane, but needs to work on his coverage. Spillane couldn't cover when he got to the Raiders, and he's much better in that department as a result of the Raiders. Could they do the same thing with Roberts? That might be in progress now, at least to some degree. He's stuffing the run as usual, and he looked pretty good in coverage. Speaking of coverage, Devin White has looked really good in coverage. As of yesterday, he still hasn't been smoked by running back Ashton Jeanty, like all the other linebackers have. They tried White deep a couple of times in training camp, but one of them got picked off. He's also looked good against the run so far. It's good to see him healthy. At his best before, he was a good blitzer that was suspect in coverage and so-so against the run. And of course in the scrimmage, White played well in all facets of the game. This is a good storyline to follow closely because if it goes the right way, the Raiders are going to have a good defense. Many are concerned about how the interior offensive line is going to shake out. I understand the insiders keep reporting about the back and forth on center Jackson Powers Johnson. One day Powers is with the 1s at center, the next day he's with the 2s at center, the next day he's with the 1s at right guard, and the day after that he's with the 2s at right guard. Then yesterday in the scrimmage, Jordan Meredith was at center with the 1s and Powers was at right guard with the 1s. It looks like this Powers to guard is really a thing. It may or may not be set in stone, but it's definitely a thing. I heard somewhere that Powers is struggling with the calls. That makes sense because it can be the blocking. If Powers can't handle the calls, he'll be a big help at guard. It's not like the Raiders have anything so great at the guard position right now. At least he's on the field and giving that offensive line all the help it needs. His physicality is what the Raiders need badly on their offensive line. Head coach Pete Carroll wants to be physical on both sides of the ball, and on offense, it all starts with the running game. That offensive line has to grind out room to get running back Ashton Jeanty going. So far, so good on that. Nothing's ever perfect, but Jeanty doesn't need the offensive line to be perfect. They did give him some holes to run through, but on some of the times they didn't, he made something out of nothing. All training camp long, he's been as advertised with a little of what wasn't advertised. Genty's vision, change of direction, and bursts are exactly what we thought they were, and he'll show the contact balance when the season starts. The one part of his game that he's showing that we didn't know too much about is his ability to run routes and catch the ball. Genty is a great weapon in the passing game. There are few running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield on screens or checkdowns. There are very few that can run routes down the field and catch the ball and line up at any of the receiver spots. Genty's one of those big-time weapons at the running back position. Offensive coordinator Chip Kelly lined him up out wide in the scrimmage, and he caught a short pass in that formation. Opposing defenses know they gotta stop him, but to do that, they gotta know where he's coming from. This has to be one of those storylines that every Raider fan is gonna follow all the way into the season. I've been sleeping on this storyline all offseason, all the way up to the scrimmage. I thought we'd see the Raiders use 12 personnel a lot last year because of what the Raiders had at tight end. They drafted the best tight end 2 years in a row, but they didn't use 12 personnel as much as I thought they would last year. That was with Luke Getsy as the offensive coordinator though. Chip Kelly is tailoring his offense to the personnel, and I love it. We already know what Brock Bowers is bringing after becoming an All-Pro as a rookie, but the storyline here is Michael Mayer, the other tight end. Mayer went through all his mental issues last year and missed time, but now his head is in a good place and he's having a good camp. I'm not gonna lie, I saw and heard about it but ignored it because I wasn't sure what it means. Now I see it means something, as it looks like 12 personnel will be the Raiders' brace package and they'll use it a lot. Mayer looked good making some big plays yesterday. It's going to be interesting to see how they get both tight ends going in the passing game with all the other weapons Smith's going to have at his disposal this year. That's another storyline I'll be following into the season. The Raiders have a few storylines that can make a big difference in how they do this year, and so far they're all playing out pretty well coming out of the scrimmage. Thornton showed up from day one of the offseason program. He caught a 70-yard bomb on the first day at pads, and in the scrimmage he caught a 20-yard touchdown. Then you have Stokes and Porter, the corners, both having good camps. Devin White is showing he can cover and he's playing the run well too. What? If Powers is moving the guard, at least he's on the field. Genty's who he thought he was, and Mayer's getting used in 12 personnel. I'm paying very close attention to those storylines. Thank you for watching. See you next time.